Matvey Michkov's here. You've seen Porter Martone highlights, but what if I told you the Flyers are quietly developing 5 hidden gems, guys you've barely heard of who could also help shape the team's future? From a Finnish rocket on skates to another Russian playmaker, we're breaking down the real secret weapons in Philly's pipeline. So let's get to it. Let's kick things off with the guy who might have the most dynamic offensive toolkit of the group, Ilia Raonin. Drafted out of Finland in the 4th round, Raonin didn't come with a ton of fanfare. But once you see him move on the ice, it's impossible not to take notice. He's got straight line speed that forces defenders to panic, and his edge work, especially through the neutral zone, is smooth and unpredictable. He carries the puck like it's on a string, slashing through defenders with controlled chaos. During his stint in the USHL with the Dubuque Fighting Saints, Raonin not only showed that signature speed, but he also racked up 39 points in 49 games and led all USHL rookies in zone entries and transition metrics. What makes him fascinating is the mix of European patience and North American urgency. He doesn't just dump and chase. He attacks with purpose. He still needs to round out his game, especially with his finishing touch. His shot can be streaky, and at times he tries to force plays that aren't there. But he's raw. He's aggressive, and his potential as a second-line winger with special teams upside is real. He's heading to college next year to play for Harvard, but Flyers fans should keep a close eye on his development. Raonin has that kind of game that could explode if he gets the right opportunity. Now let's talk about a player who couldn't be more different in style, Cole Kenubal. If Raonin is speed and flash, Kenubal is all about substance. The son of longtime NHLer and Flyer Mike Kenubal, Cole grew up around the game, and you could see that hockey IQ in every time he steps on the ice. He's not going to wow you with highlight reel goals, but he's the kind of player that coaches dream about. At Notre Dame, Kenubal was rock solid last season. He finished the year with 39 points in 34 games, played on both special teams, and often drew the toughest defensive matchups. His ability to read the play 2 steps ahead of the puck makes him a natural penalty killer. He's got a strong base, battles in the corners, and never cheats on the defensive side of the puck. What stands out is how little wasted motion there is in his game. He doesn't make risky passes. He doesn't leave his man in the defensive zone. He's responsible, steady, and efficient. Now, does he have the kind of ceiling that will push him into the top 6? Probably not. But what he does have is a high floor. If everything clicks, he could be a perfect third-line player in the NHL, someone you trust in the final minute of a game. He may not be a sexy name, but Cole Kenubal could make it very hard for the Flyers to keep him out of their bottom 6 in the future. Next up, let's get a little flashy, because Ilia Paultov is a name Flyers fans need to learn right now. Drafted in the later rounds out of Russia, Paultov had a monster year in the MHL, the Russian Junior League. He didn't just put up numbers, he was dazzling. Quick hands, flashy moves, cross-ice saucers on the power play. He looks like a guy who grew up watching Artemi Panarin. But it's not just style. There's substance behind the highlight reel. Paultov has elite vision and instincts. He anticipates lanes opening before they even exist. His shot isn't overpowering, but it's deceptive, and he finds soft ice with ease. Defenders lose track of him because of how slippery and creative he is with his movement. Now, there are concerns. He still needs to get stronger. At times, he's pushed off pucks too easily, and his defensive game needs a full overhaul. If the Flyers can get Paultov to North America and he can earn meaningful minutes in the AHL, look out. He has real top 6 NHL skill. He may take a little bit longer than some of the guys on this list, but his playmaking ability is rare. He's a name you should circle, underline, and highlight when you're projecting future options on the power play for the Flyers. From flashy to ferocious, we now move to Alex Cernick. The Slovak winger has been one of the most consistent players in the Flyers pipeline. He doesn't always light up the score sheet, but he never takes a shift off. In Sweden's Allsvenskan League, Cernick carved out a real role for himself this past year with the Nybro Vikings. 23 points in 46 games. Solid PK time and a growing reputation as a tough player for opposing forwards to play against. What makes Cernick special is his versatility. He can play both wings and is incredibly difficult to knock off the puck. His first few strides are not explosive, but once he hits full gear, he's a load to deal with. He gets under defenders' skin, he wins board battles, he forces turnovers. It's not flashy, but it's winning hockey. If he can add a bit more to his scoring punch, he could find himself playing regular pro minutes sooner rather than later. For now, he remains a dark horse prospect. one who could thrive in a third-line role and give the Flyers the kind of energy the team craves in a playoff run. Let's wrap up our player profiles with a defenseman who might be one of the smartest picks the Flyers have made in recent years, in Spencer Gill. Taken out of the queue, Gill wasn't projected to be anything more than a depth player, but this past season he turned heads. He racked up 35 points in 51 games and, more importantly, showed an elite understanding of positioning and gap control. While Gill doesn't make a ton of noise on the score sheet, coaches rave about his consistency and discipline. He blocks shots, clears the crease, and makes the first pass under pressure. His skating is improving, and that's an area he'll need to continue working on if he wants to jump to the AHL and eventually the NHL. Gill's not going to be a power play quarterback or a point machine in the NHL, but every team needs a guy who just gets the job done. Think maybe a Nick Seeler with a little bit more upside. If he develops just a bit more agility and timing, the Flyers could give him a look on the third pair within the next 3 years. So what does this all mean for the Flyers moving forward? It means the depth is real. Not every team finds value deep in drafts, but the Flyers might be on to something. With solid coaching, patience, and the right system, one or more of these players could make an impact in orange and black before long. And you'll be able to say you knew these names before everyone else did. So which hidden gem do you believe in the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're a prospect junkie like me, and subscribe for more deep dives and help us on our quest to 1,500 subscribers. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that the path to a championship doesn't start on the top line. It starts in the shadows with guys who are still waiting for their shot. In the meantime, don't forget to keep it high, keep it wide, and we'll see you next time on HW Hockey.